the end of this lesson, you will be able to determine the relationship between the hypothesis and the conclusion of an if-then statement. You will also learn how to transform a statement into an equivalent if-then statement. Now, let's proceed to our topic for today, and that is conditional statement. Conditional statements is a logical type of statement that has two parts, hypothesis and a conclusion. So what do you think is an hypothesis? Anyone? Any idea? Very good. Pag sinabi nating hypothesis, it is a given facts that are assumed to be true. So, hindi mo na kailangang i-prove. So, how about a conclusion? What do you think is a conclusion? Any idea? Very good. Conclusion needs to be proven. So, kailangan mo pa itong patunayan. Conditional statement is also a combination of two statements, P and Q, and by the words if and then. The closed if is called the hypothesis, and the closed then is called the conclusion. If-then statement in symbol is this. You can read this as if P, then Q, if P implies Q, and also you can read this as P only if Q, Q whenever P, Q provided that P is sufficient for Q, and Q is necessary for P. So let's take a look at this example. If it rains today, then we will play indoors. So what is the hypothesis and the conclusion? Di ba yung hypothesis natin kanina? These are given facts that we assume to be true. And also, the conclusion needs to be proven. And sabi din kanina, the closed if is the hypothesis. And the closed then is the conclusion. So, ano yung magiging hypothesis and conclusion natin? Yes? Very good. Our conclusion is, it rains today. I should say hypothesis, sabi ko sana. And our conclusion is, we will play indoors. Did you get it? Next. If it's a quadrilateral, then it has four sides. So, ano yung hypothesis natin at ano yung conclusion natin? So, let us determine the hypothesis. So, what do you think is the hypothesis? Anyone? Very good. It's a quadrilateral. How about the conclusion? Yes? Very good. It has four sides. Another example. If it's a right angle, then it measures 90 degrees. So, ano sa tingin nyo ang hypothesis natin? It's a right angle. Very good. How about the conclusion? It measures 90 degrees. Very good. Next, another example. You need a quiet room if you want to write a model. You need the quiet room if you want to write a model. So, what is the hypothesis and what is the conclusion? Hypothesis. Ano yung pagbibasehan natin close? If. The close if is called the hypothesis. So, the hypothesis in this statement is, you want to write a model. And our conclusion is, you need a quiet room. Very good. So, naintindihan nyo na. Take note. Conditional statement is not always written in if and then form. Example, all grade 8 results students are part of the program. So, what is the hypothesis and the conclusion of that statement? O, di ba yung hypothesis natin? These are facts that are assumed to be true. So, alin dyan yung totoo? All grade 8 Rizal students. And the conclusion is part of the program. So, if we will transform the statement in if-then statement, the answer will be, if a student is in grade 8 Rizal, then he or she is part of the program. Naintindihan? Another example. All quadrilaterals have 4 equal sides. So what will be the hypothesis in that statement? Yes? Very good. The hypothesis in that statement is quadrilaterals. Quadrilateral is a polygon. So the conclusion is have 4 equal sides. Now, we will now transform the statement in if-then form. So the answer is, if a polygon is a quadrilateral, then it has 4 sides. Okay, let's write the statement in if-then form. A right angle measures 90 degrees. So what do you think is the answer? Anyone? Okay, very good. If it is a right angle, then it measures 90 degrees. So what is the hypothesis? It is right angle. The conclusion is it measures 90 degrees. Another example. An honest student is loved by her teacher. So what do you think is the answer if we transform it in if-then form? Anyone? Very good. If a student is honest, then she is loved by her teacher. The hypothesis in this statement is a student is honest. And the conclusion in the statement is very good. She is loved by her teacher. Okay, another example. A quadrilateral has 4 sides. Transform it in if-then form. Yes? Very good. If it is a quadrilateral, then it has 4 sides. The hypothesis is, it is quadrilateral. And the conclusion is, it has 4 sides. Naintindihan? Conditional is either true or false. Let's take a look at this table. P represent the hypothesis. Q represent the conclusion. So if the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is true, P implies Q is true. Next, if the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false, then P implies Q is false. Next, if the hypothesis is false and the conclusion is true, P implies Q is true. If the hypothesis is false and the conclusion is false, P implies Q is true. Now, let's try this. Identify the hypothesis and conclusion. So, dito natin makikita kung naintindihan nyo yung lesson natin. Dito natin malalaman kung alam nyo bang mag-identify ng hypothesis and conclusion ng statement. Exercise 1. If it rains today, then I will bring my umbrella. What do you think is the hypothesis and the conclusion of the statement? Anyone? Yes? Very good. The hypothesis is, it rains tomorrow. The conclusion is, I will bring umbrella. Exercise 2. If a polygon has 7 sides, then it is heptagon. What is the hypothesis? Yes? Very good. A polygon has 7 sides. How about the conclusion? It is heptagon. Now, let's try to write the statement in if-then form. Exercise 3. Equilateral triangles are equiangular. So, what do you think is the hypothesis and the conclusion of the statement? The hypothesis is equilateral triangle, and the hypothesis is equiangular. So, the answer is, if triangles are equilateral, then it is equiangular. Exercise 4. It has a factor when a number is even. So what do you think is the hypothesis and the conclusion of the statement? Yes? Anyone? The hypothesis is? Ano sagot? Hypothesis. A number is even. And the conclusion is, it has a factor. So if we transform it in if-then statement, the answer would be, if a number is even, then it has a factor. Now, let's try this example. Another example on how to determine whether each conditional is true or false. If 10 plus 3 equals 13, then there are 7 days in a week. Is it true or false? So, ano yung hypothesis natin? If 10 plus 3 equals 13, true or false? True. So, the hypothesis is true. How about the conclusion? There are 7 days in a week. True ba or false? True. So, this statement is very good. It is true. How about this example? If R is a consonant, then triangle has 4 sides. The hypothesis is, if R is consonant, is it true or false? True. Very good. How about the conclusion? A triangle has 4 sides. O yung triangle daw may 4 sides. Ilang side bang meron ng triangle? 3 sides. Very good. So, the statement is false. Naintindihan nyo ba yung lesson natin? So, kung may mga katanungan kayo, feel free to ask me. Huwag kayong mahihiyang magtanong sa akin. At goodbye and God bless.